Hello, welcome
Oh,
to Two Season Boomers.
bro, that other guy left? Fuck
We're
him.
in the double digits now. Episode
Oh, shit.
10.
Well, we did it. We did it,
We
guys.
did it, bros. We made it. Kept the gun away for one more day. That's all that matters. What's been going on with you, man?
Not much, man. I've been doing shit. Playing this Marvel 2 like always. There are no good fighting games on the market. There are no good games on the market. Or so they say. But we'll see.
All I hear lately is Helldivers, and more Helldivers.
Democracy, bro. It's cool.
I like the game. It's nice.
I like the concept, you know. Feels very Starship Troopers.
Yeah, it's the whole appeal. I'm over here watching Justin Wong beat up B ranks on Fightcade.
Oh,
Well, let
what game is he
me
playing?
share my screen with you. Where's my screen? There it
Is he
is.
playing any? Is he playing a good game?
There's my screen.
Oh, it's a terrible game, unfortunately.
He's beating up the B ranks, dude. He's training.
It's a very terrible.
He's apparently
game.
training for Evo by beating up B ranks. I don't know.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to make sense to me. I don't know. Seems like an odd choice.
Justin Wong is the greatest. I want you
Yes.
guys to remember that he's one of the greatest.
Yes. I just think that video is not what it claims to be.
It's misleading. That's all. That's okay. He has to get his V-Bucks.
He has to get his V-Bucks. He can buy some butter for his family. Everyone needs butter.
I feed them kids, baby. Feed them kids.
Speaking of Turd Strike, got our friend John playing Turd Strike. Did you play him yet?
Any advice? No, I haven't. But any advice to newcomers?
To newcomers, yeah, I got
Well,
advice. But for him, no, it would be different advice because he has a good fundamental understanding. We played for like an hour. He got like 4 games out of 30. He was picking up things pretty quick. So you know, it was a pretty fun match. Pretty fun stuff.
Who he was playing?
He played Alex all the time. I played Ryu, Remy, Urian, Ibuki, Dudley. I think that's it. Next time I'll play the others, I guess.
Played Hugo the whole time.
He had Super Art 3 the whole time though. I was like, don't use don't use that one.
Hey, if he wants to use it, let him use it. Let him figure out the setups.
That shit's ass, dude.
It's a trick style.
It's
You know,
a
that's all.
meme. It's a meme.
Yeah, it is.
But no, for new players, I guess my suggestion would be to play offline. That would be my suggestion.
Yeah, try to avoid playing a game online. You're gonna pick up a lot of bad habits.
A lot of bad habits.
Yeah, you're gonna be jumping everywhere, doing all these
Dude.
unsafe sweeps and so forth. It's gonna be terrible.
Oh my god. So wait. What was it? What was? You said Event Hub was saying something.
Oh, yep, right there. Read that for me.
All right, this is from Event Hubs, posted by John Velociraptor Guerrero 58 minutes ago. So this is breaking news, apparently. The Street Fighter 6 community is talking all about the kinds of changes we are hoping to see as Capcom has opted to promise one major balance patch update each year. By the way, I've kind of changed my opinion on this. Yeah.
Balance patching.
I'll,
Oh shit.
I'll talk about it in a bit. And the first
Okay.
of these for season 2 is surely right around the corner. Ba, 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 ba. Those specific character changes and Drive Rush tend to be the most discussed issues. There's another that MC Mura directly addresses in his latest video: neutral skipping fireballs.
Oh my god.
What does that term even mean? I feel like we're just using buzzwords now for everything. What do you think that means? What do you think new?
I dash. I dash and do my Hadouken. I get shit on my projectile. I don't even know what these fucking people mean anymore.
I think it means he
Oh,
throws his fireball and he dashes behind it, which is like it's nothing new, I guess. But I guess they're not saying it's doing; they're just
yeah.
saying it's a problem. But
Maybe it doesn't belong in a Street Fighter
I,
game. That I agree with.
like I don't. Out of all the things, I don't feel like this is the worst thing in the world. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
Surely remembering how moot they would end up, they would they wound up being back in the very prominent atmosphere of Street Fighter 3. Developers were clearly careful to balance fireballs according to most of the mechanics in Street Fighter 6. They recover and tend to travel faster than in previous games, so as to make sure they're still useful in a game with global parries. I don't know why he's saying this like this. I feel like I guess what Street Fighter Five they were like a little slower in general. And Street
Yeah, I
Fighter
guess.
Four they were I don't think they were slow or recovered slow. They're pretty good in Street Fighter Four, weren't they?
Some of those are pretty fast. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't get it. Some characters, however, have notably slower moving versions of their projectiles, and when you pair these long lasting horizontal hitboxes with the drive rush mechanic, you run into some problems. Characters like Chun-Li, Aki, and Ken, there are others, can easily set up situations where the back and forth of neutral play is entirely dampened by. I don't get this, because when you throw a fireball, it's going horizontally, right? And when you drive rush behind the fireball, you're still going horizontally. So
Yeah.
essentially, it's like you're throwing an EX fireball in a sense, but you're more vulnerable.
People don't like the idea of being able to move and still have to think about the projectile that's incoming. What do you actually block?
I mean, yeah, it's
So
strong, but like from a strategy point of view, I don't feel like this. It's like something that doesn't have a work like a counterplay or whatever. Wouldn't you just? I don't know.
like, I
I guess
understand why
it's
they're
forcing
arguing.
you to block.
Well, yeah, because it's not your turn at that point. You know that's what they always wanted. That's what they kept saying. It's not your turn. You have to block now. I'm engaging. You know, my move is -12. Now it's your turn. You know, it's like, come on.
Once these characters,
Now they're
sorry,
complaining.
once these characters
No,
have
no, yeah.
their fireball on the screen, the defender's options are vastly limited, as jumping over it almost always seen and thwarted. Contesting will result in certain failure, and trying to parry most often leaves in massively disadvantageous situations. So they're saying that if you try to jump it, you're almost always seen. I guess because it's like the predictable option. Like it's the most
Yeah.
predictable option to deal with that. Which that was my first thought towards the fireball and dashing forward was like jump, I guess. But then again, I don't know. It's a weird game. Like people have done this to me, and I don't know. I just block.
I mean, it's not too different from keeping in mind the incoming assist in Marvel
Yeah,
too. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know why they're saying it's such a problematic issue. Maybe it is in Street Fighter because it's not meant to be in this style of gameplay. You know, maybe they're starting to realize that this Street Fighter game is really straying away from the actual core elements. I keep saying this is an anime game. This is not really a fighting game. I mean, this is not really a Street Fighter game. Like I think the
Maximilian.
last Street,
Go ahead.
um, I was gonna say the last Street Fighter game was probably Street Fighter Five. Because this ain't it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like Street Fighter Five, but I do admit that it is in its own way a Street Fighter game, even though it's like just as volatile as this one.
Mm-hmm.
But and I really don't like that game either. Um, Maximilian actually had a decent take recently, and I guess maybe he probably got that take from someone else. I don't know. Hopefully, it was his own opinion. But he's essentially saying that Street Fighter Six, Tekken 8, these are all like the first versions of the game, and the first versions of the game are always kind of shit. Which, sure, I guess, but it just seems kind of old hat at this point, where we like for some reason every time a fighting game comes out, like it's always trash out the gate for some reason. And it just feels like we're making this excuse for the developers, like, well, yeah, I expected it to be bad. It's like, how can you like bank on a financial success if you treat your game this way? I don't know.
It's like, guys, come on, we gotta support some season pass. We gotta be here till next year because season two is gonna get even better.
Yeah,
It's like, really?
that's
Does it
the
get
head
better?
canon right now. That season two is going to be so amazing. It because in my head they're going to fix all the problems that are in my head,
Are they?
and it's like what? Where are you getting this from? Exactly.
They're not gonna fix the game.
So
I don't even think they're gonna add characters.
probably not. The budget's probably like sunk so low they probably can't do. They probably can only. They're probably only going to be able to add like two characters per year at a certain point.
Oh shit, yeah, basically.
Because if they keep fucking flopping this hard, like Dragon's Dogma, big flop. What was that other game? Exo
Oof,
Primal, big flop.
big flop, yeah.
Monster Hunter's coming next year. I wonder if it's getting rushed now because of those games. And it's like,
No, probably
where does
not.
Street Fighter 6 have a budget to do anything?
Well, they keep doing the advertisements, collaborations and
They're gonna
stuff.
need to do like RE4 Part 2 to get to get some more money. That's how bad it
Oh,
is. I don't know, dude. But anyway, I was gonna say like my opinion has kind of changed on this patch. Wait a year to patch the game, sort of thing. And
what?
well, I'm kind of like mulling it over in my brain a little bit. Like we're we're in an age right now where like even like I know we joke about the young folk being like impatient and stuff, but
Yeah.
in general, it feels like things move a lot quicker in the entertainment sphere now. Like nothing really sits for that long. And thinking about this from like a financial perspective, like it was awful when these games were like patching like every 2 weeks and like making huge changes and stuff. Like I think maybe like Persona or one of those anime games were doing that at a certain time. Maybe it was Blaze Blue or something that they were like just constantly patching. I'm not sure what game it was. Maybe even like Cross Tag Battle, one of those. People rightfully were like, "Oh, why do you keep patching this? I gotta like relearn stuff, this and that." And from that perspective, it's like, yeah, that's probably a bit too much. And then it's like, okay, what if we wait a year to patch the game? And it's like, okay, cool. That sounds good. I don't have to like relearn things too often. Like the game doesn't change too much. And from our perspective, being like old school players, it's like this is the game. It's never gonna get patched. So this is it. Deal with it, sort of mentality. But
But does it kill the player base?
that's kind of what I'm getting to, because
Mm.
you can. I think both situations you kill the player base. Like if you wait a year, you kill the player base, and if you patch too much, you kill the player base. And there's like an
Yeah.
undetermined point in the middle where most of like let's call it the casuals or the people who are mildly invested in this genre, like how like what they're gonna their tolerance level for this stuff is gonna be different depending on which one, and depending who's talking in their ear on Twitter or YouTube, like with like the Sajams of the world telling you, nah, man,
Yeah.
this patching like this is bad. These developers should patch when I tell them to. Which is
Basically.
we've enjoyed the 1 year patch thing, and I'm sure you probably still feel that way, maybe. Um, but I
No.
think financially, like the fact that the you know what it is, it's the fact that the game is bad and people have so many complaints and they haven't addressed it. I think that's the main thing. I think if the game was good and everybody was happy, then yeah, wait as long as you can. Like you don't have there's no need to like do something. But the fact that the state of the game, and I said this like the first 2 weeks the game came out, like this is horrible. Like this is not gonna turn out well. This is gonna devolve into this strategy and this, and people are gonna do this. And yeah, people are complaining about drive impact, but yeah, the drive rush is actually cancer, and the drive impact actually has another effect on the game, and it never has to be used at all, which is actually like a whole other mind. What are we? 60 minutes mind fuck, you know.
Yeah. No, no, I totally agree. And I see where you're coming from. The problem is that when you're buying these type of games, I think you as a player or even as a developer, you need to understand your consumer is going to invest time into this product. You know, how do you keep them wanting to go back on the ride? If that makes
Put the
sense.
coin back in.
Yeah, put the coin back in.
Necro?
For a lot of these games that doesn't exist anymore. The DLC isn't as compelling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you want me to do? Buy a fucking color for my character? Like, I'm over it. Is there anything that adds to the story? To the gameplay? Am I getting new characters? Am I getting a new mode? I'll look at Tekken. Hey, look what the fuck they gave those guys. They gave them Tekken Ball mode. I think a couple of other stuff, the verses.
And from what I understand, they're already kind of adjusting things
Yeah.
because players have given
Yeah.
that feedback that they're not enjoying things too much.
Yeah. And you already see like too much feedback ended up them breaking the fucking game. You know?
Yeah, I'm not too sure what's been going on exactly, but I just know they have been patching things. I don't know to what extent or what impact it's had.
And they're not, and it's not to say that Street Fighter doesn't have those mini games. It's just that people aren't familiar with them, and there's no real incentive to play it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
most of the people that play Street Fighter, they're not gonna play the Street Fighter mini games. Like, this is why I keep telling them they fucked up. Like those mini games that they did in arcade mode, where you had to break the truck,
Yeah,
and I think like the
the
parry,
bowl
like
the
that,
bowl
they
the
should
bowl game.
balls. Yeah, like they should have expanded on those type of mini games. Like they should have brought back a lot of the old school Street Fighter 2 mini games. Like that would have made a lot more sense. But they dropped the ball on it. They had like this fake bull run mode, the one where you could use like the Mega Man power ups and shit. Nobody really gave a fuck about that.
The thing is
You know?
is that they're like, and I brought this up the other day when we were just in here chatting. It's like these companies, and then Harada said this, like talking to the CEO of Sony, which is like, oh, these players don't actually want to win or lose, so we actually have to find some way for them to enjoy the game without, having to commit to these things. It's like, and I've told you this before. That same idea. It's like these casuals, they don't actually want to compete. Like I said this in the Street Fighter Five era, like when you saw Fortnite coming around, and it's like they just want to play, the game, loosey goosey, whatever. Like who cares? with no intention of like winning or losing, just like go in, see the bright colors, and then leave. And that's fine. That's completely fine. And as a business, you have to take that and say, okay, these are the this is like what the demographic that I'm aiming for wants, right? Because when you look at Street Fighter,
Yeah.
you need a young audience. You can't rely on these old boomers like me and you to keep to like stick around and keep playing these games. You need a young audience. And if they're like, think of like Street Fighter 6 as an arcade in itself, right? That you actually go to. Like
Yeah.
these kids are never gonna walk in the door. They're not gonna pay the $60. Like you have to
They don't want to, bro. They don't want to
like
go out. They're
that's what I'm
so
saying. Like
comfortable being home, just playing
if it
online.
was like
There's no
a
point.
free to play game or like a very low entry, that's how you get the young audience. The young audience isn't gonna pay for a price point unless it's like fucking Zelda or something that obviously caters to them much harder than a Street Fighter game would.
I think what's also problematic with a game like a Street Fighter is that you have a lot of legacy players, so there's almost like that weight on your shoulders psychologically that comes with it when you're playing this game. You know, like whereas Tekken, not to say that that legacy wasn't there, but you could just pick it up and just press any buttons, and you'll start doing combos,
Mm-hmm.
not even knowing what you're doing.
Right.
You know, and that's why there was always the argument of motions. We have to simplify the motions. They're too difficult for people. And you hear there's some people where they wiggle the arcade stick in the manner where they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's
But it's like
so many
you could
different factors.
design the game in a way that's simple enough for people to mash, but not simple to where you're putting in modern and you're putting in, Drive
Yeah.
Rush has like, plus frames. You don't have to do all that to appease to like a new audience or like appease to like some audience that doesn't even exist in a way.
And I've always said this to people. We have the arcade stick, we have the basic controller for any console, and then we have the mouse and the keyboard. You know, do people really find all three that difficult? Do we have to make another medium as a means to play? Like, wasn't that the purpose of
These
Connect
kids are
and it fucking
building on
failed?
Fortnite. They're building structures and like they're swapping guns. Like, what do we? What argument are we having here that these players need to hold one button to do their auto
Yeah,
combo?
yeah, and that's why it doesn't make sense to me. And like you said, with Fortnite, like you see what they're doing, the way they do the wall cancels with the jump as they're building. It's very fucking strange what these kids are able to
They're
come up with.
capable. Like
And some of them are doing it on
we were
keyboard.
capable as kids. They're the same, equally capable. They can do all this stuff. They can learn all the complicated
But it,
combos. They can get the muscle memory. Their hands won't hurt like ours do after 3 hours.
and I think what happens is that a lot of it is as I keep saying it, it's the voiceless majority versus the vocal minority. It's this small group of people that they do eventually get the attention of the developers, and they start asking themselves, maybe I do have to change this, but it's like on what basis? What is the evidence? Is it truly game
that
breaking?
that's
Or are these
the
people just
hard
fucking
thing is
complaining?
sifting out who to listen to and the developer. The intermediator between the intermediary. How do I say that word? Intermediary person who is between the complainer. Let's call him the complainer, and between them and the
Yeah,
developer,
yeah,
the person in the middle who's sifting through all the garbage information and passing the good information to the developer. Because the developer doesn't have time to read all that shit.
I always assumed that was the purpose of the beta testers, but now we're the beta testers. Maybe that's why they're listening to us now.
I don't, but I'm saying more of like they need someone in the middle to like parse that information that everyone's spewing out, right? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
like just the lead developer of Street Fighter, Oshiga, whatever his name, like let's say he's not on Twitter reading stuff. He needs someone to send him the tweets that are relevant. And what if the tweets that he's
Uh,
getting are like stupid complaints because the person in the middle doesn't know what the lead developer would know? So like
Well,
that's like a whole other mess of like the equation of like what information is getting passed to the actual developers and what actually matters.
oh,
But I think let me just finish up
yeah.
my previous point. It's like, you know, with the whole patching thing, they could have released something significant to this like the drive gauge system, like as a
Yeah.
band-aid, just as like a goodwill towards the players, because we've waited this long and so many people have dropped off, and it's clear that it's because of like this system.
But look what's happening. Street Fighter is in a very unique situation because when they came out, people were like, "Okay, cool, whatever." Mortal Kombat 1 came out, everybody hated it. People were excited about Tekken 8. It came out, and now people are hating the game. So now people are going back and forth with Street Fighter 6. Maybe this is healthy for them. Maybe this is why they chose, not to address certain issues. No, you're fucking laughing. Maybe this is it. Nobody's really complaining about us. We're gonna leave it alone. Fuck it. Let's see how far this shit gets us, and then we'll fix everything. But now let's work on Monster Hunter.
Oh god,
Probably what the Japanese said.
that's a whole different team.
Yeah, because I don't see any movement with Street Fighter. They still haven't released the Kuma.
No,
They're taking their fucking sweet time with
you're gonna
that.
be able to play test him, or the Japanese will be able to play test him in May or some shit.
What, they couldn't afford the translator, so they was like, all right, we're just gonna do it in
I
Japan
don't
first.
know. I think they're like doing
What's going
they're
on
doing
here?
a test for Akuma to see if he's gonna be broken.
Yeah, exactly. And they want all the top Japanese players figuring them out first. And they had Tokido in a private room
This game
before she
this
gets
game
everybody else.
needs so many things that would make it interesting to me. But like I said, I think some kind of goodwill would have gone a long way. Like 4 months ago, 3 months ago, 5 months ago. Like in that time frame where everyone was kind of like, this is starting to show very clear signs of, slop, let's call it. And that's not to say like, oh, they should have buffed, Cammy, they should have buffed Manon, they should have buffed Nerf Blanca, Nerf JP, like none of that. No, just overall, like a band-aid fix towards the system. A band-aid fix towards perfect parry if they need to make a band-aid fix to perfect parry. A band-aid fix to drive impact if they need to make a band-aid fix to that. Band-aid fix to drive rush. Because that's clearly like the most painful thing the players are experiencing.
Want to know what's the real Band-Aid fix? Adding low
Oh
parries.
god.
And nobody wants to admit it.
No. Get that shit
That's,
out of here.
that's what they were complaining about in the beginning. That's what they were complaining about the first 2 months. It needs to be low
No.
parries.
No. At the very least, I'll concede forward parry, because that way
This is
that way
my
you can't do the block cross ups. At the very least, I'd say that. The low high, that doesn't interest me. I don't think that would fix anything. It would just create a layer of complexity that's like irrelevant to the overall game.
issue is that most of these so-called complaints are just ingenuous.
Also,
They just I don't think there's any real problem with the game. That's just me speaking as a player, and I want you to keep in mind. I played Madden in this fucking game,
mhm.
and like with my experience, the game was perfectly fine. And I said it, she was low tier. I don't know what everybody was crying about. She was always low tier. And it's sad that Idom is not performing in the manner that he should be performing. But that's okay. Eventually he'll learn the tech. That's it. And I've always felt that the game was fine. It just wasn't a Street Fighter game. This was an anime game in my eyes. For some reason, when I saw JP, he felt like a Mortal Kombat character. It felt very
I
strange.
agree with you that it's not a Street Fighter game in the sense that, you know just the way it plays and everything, the way drive rush affects the game. But I still do think, even though it's, you know headcanon, not a Street Fighter game, I still think they could have done something to keep the health of the game and the people inside of it better. But
But how do they truly address Dry Rush
just
if the
whatever Capcom thinks they're going to do for season two, which they probably have known for months now, they should have just done a little bit of that and see.
because you know that
Because
was the
like,
intended
if
mechanic,
they
right?
nerf it a little bit, let's say, and then people start, it's like, okay, they nerfed it. Let's all play Street Fighter Six now. Let's see how this is different, how it affects the game. It's like you could see then. This is the iterative process because now we're gonna get the change in season two. Let's say they changed it right in the middle of season one and season two. Let's say they nerf Drive Rush. We're gonna get the change that they're going to make in season two early, right? And then the change that they're going to make for
Yeah.
season three is going to be different now because of the information they got in between one and two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, at this early stage in the game where people are, like, not enjoying it so much, I feel like they should make more iterative changes to the game, test more things, see how things turn out, and then as the game matures later in the years, then slow it down to 1 year. Because you're not going to have that type of, you release this theoretical game that has all this stuff that's never been tried before, never been experimented with. You get what I mean?
I know. Just in this day and age, it's to me, it's very confusing why they release these games in this manner, where they're incomplete. They create these battle pass incentives, and as we go along the year, you know, they start to howl up all the errors, and then eventually, when the funding is received, they decide to address the issues. I think that's what's really happening now. And they probably did the hot fix, because obviously Capcom Cup was happening. That's the only reason why they did the hot fix.
No,
And then that, I
no,
don't think they would have never done it.
I think that patch they did was only to keep people interested after the tournament ended, because they knew after the tournament, after that guy got his $1,000,000, people were like, "Well, all right, I guess Street Fighter Six is done.
Yeah, I'm done with
What
this
else is
game,
on the
basically.
menu?" And it's like that patch essentially revitalized what would have been people hopping off the game, right?
And that's why I keep saying it's a very stale fighting game market. I mean, what are you really playing? Grand Blue?
There's not a lot of options.
What are you playing?
Not a lot of options right now.
What are you playing? A DNF fighter?
So if I may be like, if you're an enjoyer of Street Fighter Five, like the best time to play Street Fighter Five is probably now. Like instead of us hopping to the next game right away and having like half the roster and like these incomplete mechanics, like you can go, like if you enjoy Street Fighter Five, you can go play Street Fighter Five. That game is complete already. It's got way more characters, way more stages, way more content in general.
There's still people playing it, believe it or not. Yeah.
If this, it's like so tricky when you think about like the financial aspect of these games and like keeping them alive and stuff. And, like what as a community, like what a community should be like playing and enjoying, and like if you really think about it, like all these Street Fighter 6 players, like they could be playing Street Fighter 5 also. Like if they enjoy both games,
At the same time.
like me, I don't enjoy that shit. I find that shit horrible. But like if you enjoy those two games, like why not? Why are you only sticking to the new one?
But I've always said that, that we should have always recognized the legacy games, and that Street Fighter in general should have been playing all the games at the same time. And we missed that opportunity the moment that we started shitting on Third Strike. Nah, fuck that game. This is the new game. This is the real shit.
Look, man, don't quote me. I'm quoting
you. I'm not quoting you. No, but like those guys now look like fucking idiots. Because now we're stuck with this fucking game, and it's just like, where does the community go? Do we actually go back? You know, that means we're buying our own words now.
So
That shit is fucked up.
if I could wrap this up with what Harada was saying to the CEO or
I
whatever,
wrap it up,
this
G.
the
Wrap it
CEO
up.
or whatever the guy is from PlayStation, where he was saying like,
Yeah.
you know, our competitive win or lose scenario of Tekken or whatever, it doesn't appeal to, you know, newcomers. And he's saying this like right after Tekken 8 releases, which is like, to me, like like what what, like I don't even understand.
Really,
So like, go ahead.
Tekken is a legacy product. I mean,
No, but
Tekken 8.
he's saying that we need to appeal to like these younger people who don't want to win or lose or whatever. And he's saying it like right after the release of
Oh,
Tekken 8. And it's like
oh, that's oh, yeah.
if
I
that's how you
apologize.
feel, shouldn't that have been included in the game in some fashion?
Well, yeah. What is it? The heat
No,
system?
no, not the heat system, just a way to appeal to newer players who don't want to engage with the win or lose scenario.
I mean, this is maybe Dive Kick was the best fighting game.
But dive kick is ultimately still like win versus lose. I think the main point he's trying to get at is like the Fortnite appeal, where it's like there's 100 people in Fortnite playing, right? Are you gonna be number one? Chances are very low, right? But are you gonna like if you don't care about that and you
But at that
hold
point,
on.
you're just giving everybody a medal for
No.
participation.
You don't
You
get a
know?
participation medal in Fortnite. When you lose, you lose. The only guy who gets the medal is
Yeah,
number one.
of
But
course.
you still have 99 other players who are playing all the time and they don't care about winning or losing, right? They're just playing to play. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they don't like the win or lose scenario. Essentially, like this new audience and like maybe kids in general over the past like 10, 15 years. And I said this years ago, like they need some way to appeal to these people and then market the game towards them to get them interested
Where did that?
so that not like let's say 90 people buy your game that's not win or lose scenario. It's like, you know, Mario Party
Yeah.
kind of like whatever shenanigans. Let's say 3% of those players go on and actually start competing in the real version of your game, like the real 1v1 scenario. Like that's a win. Is that not a win? And that's not to say that everyone is
It's
being
like,
forced to play the clown mode. Like the real mode still exists in the game.
but my thing is that where did that style of gameplay really take off? Was it Minecraft with the whole crafting? Because like you could progress in that game, obviously,
So
but most people just chose to build whatever they wanted to. That was their world, you
have you
know.
played
Obviously, it's
have you played a battle royale game?
yeah. I played a couple of them.
So like maybe like I know like as a competitive person, for me it was hard to understand why somebody would play Fortnite. But as I played the game more, I kind of understand why someone would play that over like Street Fighter. It's just like you hop in, you shoot people,
And you get out,
you
yeah.
try and kill as many people as you can, and then you leave. And like there's no consequence. You don't get beat over the head. Like 99 other people lost as well. So you don't
I want you to
like when you get the win,
keep
when you
this.
get the dub in Fortnite, you feel good.
Yeah,
Like, oh yeah, awesome, great, cool, nice. But it's not that you don't ever like feel miserable when you lose in Fortnite. It's like, ah, shit, damn, that guy got lucky. You can blame it on anything. That guy had a better gun. You know, that guy, oh, he sniped me. It's not like a Street Fighter game was like, oh shit, I didn't anti-air him. I needed to protect that grab. Ah, that guy's way better than me. Blah blah blah. He's smurfing, you know. Like you can still blame certain things, but ultimately it's you that's losing. Ultimately, it's on you,
yeah.
and that's why
Well, I think we also need.
like
Oh, sorry, no,
I
it's good.
feel like these games, like if I may like be specific on like what type of clown mode these games should include, I think Tekken have a battle royale in Tekken in some weird way where like in like
Oh, good. Well, let's not get it going away with ourselves,
no,
man.
no,
What are you talking?
look, like in a Yakuza style, like fucking big ass arena. Everyone's playing some version of a character, and they're just doing all their moves in the place. And you're playing Tekken, but let's say you're in a third person perspective, and you're still pressing the Tekken buttons. But there's all these other people running around and hitting each other, and like it's just nonsense and chaos. And some guy gets a power up and punches you in the mouth. And at the same time, you're still learning the basics of Tekken. You're learning the strings, you're learning the juggles. You run up to people, there's two people next to each other fighting, you launch both of them, you start juggling them, you kill both of them, you move on to the next guy, you run around, everything's bananas and crazy. Like, that would appeal to a lot of casuals. A lot of casuals.
So what you want to make is just a giant beat 'em up. That's
Just
it.
a big beat 'em up world where these casual players can go and buy the game if there's a price point or play for free and then
So instead of F-Zero 99, you want Final Fight 99?
but I'm saying this is what these developers could be doing to get people interested in the game, and then like let's say 3% of those players move on and play the real game. Now you've got 3% new audience, and if that's like let's say 200,000 people, what's the math on that?
Oof.
That's 6,000 new players who are interested in the actual game.
Hmm.
The 1v1 aspect. Like, oh yeah, cool, I love the Battle Royale mode, it's fun. But actually, this 1v1 mode is pretty cool too. And now I'm green rank. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're. I mean, they would have to figure out a way where whatever you're doing in that battle royale mode would eventually transfer over to the one v
Well, that's what
one
I'm
mode,
saying. Like,
where
you're
you get
still
still able
learning
to
tech. You're still like
dominate.
the way the game controls is still Tekken. Like, if you go into Battle Royale mode, you pick your Kazuya. All your Kazuya stuff is there. The only difference would be maybe like holding forward makes you run instead of walk.
Listen, I don't know about you, man. I don't think we could release this episode. You know, this is $1 million idea right now. You know, we might have to edit this one out, guys.
I've got a million dollar ideas.
I'm gonna have to bleep all of them. Everybody's just like, what the hell?
Oh god. But yeah, we promised to talk about Final Fantasy VII. Any more thoughts on that aspect?
I mean, so it's $1 million idea. I'm gonna be honest with you, right? It's $1 million idea. You're onto something, so I'm a little scared to say anything further.
No, go ahead.
No, man, because I don't want to give people any ideas. And
I
then
mean,
steal this
if we really
idea,
care about the FGC and its longevity, they can take that idea.
they're just gonna make Tekken Force 99. Who the fuck knows?
Do it. Take that idea. If it's a good idea, take it and run.
I hope they do. If not, they should pay us. Those bastards.
I want residuals.
We get residuals. They give us that.
This video came out on 4/12/2024. Oh, rather, it was recorded. I guess it'll be uploaded in the afternoon.
Right.
Yeah, that's the date.
That's a good thing.
So, Final Fantasy VII.
Fantasy 7. Did you buy it?
Well, first I want to talk about your experience with the original Final Fantasy VII. Because actually, like the first time I met you in high school, I heard you, and you're like this ghetto thug talking about Final Fantasy VII, and I just turned my head like, what? And that was the first time.
I don't think it was Final Fantasy 7.
No,
I think
it was. You weren't talking to me.
VIII.
You were talking to other people about Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, disgusting.
And I was like, huh? And I was just listening. I was just there minding my own business. I might have chimed in. I'm not sure. Yeah, that was the first time I noticed you. That you were. This is back in a time where I didn't think people existed.
Oh, good
where I
lord.
was like everything was an illusion in my head.
What a blur.
But yeah, what's your experience with Final Fantasy VII?
Final Fantasy. You know, it's weird because I didn't beat the game. I'll be honest with you. I had somebody beat the game in front of me.
Hmm.
So, like, I had multiple people play the game in front of me. I think the farthest I've gotten was when they finally reached the building and they're like climbing up all the stairs to the top.
Uh-huh.
Like anybody that's played the
Yeah, the Shinra building.
yeah, the Shinra building, yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I probably stopped giving a fuck. I'll be honest with you, because at that time I wanted to play Final Fantasy 8 more. I thought 8 was cooler. I don't know why.
So you weren't
But
really a fan of 7 at all?
no, I was a fan of 7, but it wasn't until because of Kingdom Hearts where I started going back, and I was like, okay, I want to actually try this fucking game out.
Hmm.
You know, like I said, I had somebody like beat the game in front of me, and like he was explaining the whole story of everything that happened. And I was like, yo, this shit is kind of fucking crazy. You know, it's kind of like a movie. You know, like shouts out to my friend Issa, you know, the African king.
So
You know,
did you
he was the main
so
one.
did you go back and play it?
I want to say probably, and I don't remember. It's so vague. So vague. Like I'm trying to remember. Like I know like the materia and all the other
Did you
stuff.
get to like the end on the mountains and stuff?
Yeah, I got to the part with the mountains. I think
With the snowboarding minigame and
uh
stuff?
yeah, like I got up to that, all those mini games and everything. I got Kate Sif, I got
Did you
Yuffie.
beat Sephiroth and stuff?
I don't think so. I think I got Sid around that time period and
This
stuff. Yeah, because you needed him
th-
for the spaceship. I mean, the
this
ship
fight,
and
this fight.
everything.
Did you do this fight?
Oh nah. That's what I'm saying. He did that shit.
Oh, okay, okay.
I didn't do that. He beat the game in front of me.
So you got almost to the end.
I was trashing Final Fantasy 7. And Final Fantasy 8, that was different. I don't know, it's so strange. For some reason for Final Fantasy 8, I cared about the hunting aspect more. You know? Like I leveled up my characters incorrectly. All I cared about was Squall, Zell, and the sniper dude.
Damn, what's his
And
name?
you know how I'm talking about with the shotgun and
Yeah,
everything. Yeah.
I never used
So
Irving.
Irvin, yeah. So I fucked up, like, cause you know you're supposed to level up all of them for the last fight,
Yeah, I
and
turned it off on the last fight. I was like, yeah, I'm done with this.
yeah, cause at that point I was like, damn, everybody keeps dying. Squall has to heal them. He can't even
I'm
attack.
casting all these double
You know,
spells,
like
triple spells. I'm like, God damn it,
yeah,
Ultimacia, die already.
yeah, it was terrible, bro. It was, oh my god. You know, but it's a good game. I love that game. You know, I like the conspiracies behind it too. Very strange.
So
You
for
know,
me, Final Fantasy VII, the first time I played it was, or rather saw it, was some kid had a Japanese demo disc where it was like this mission here, the first mission, the bomb mission, and like the PlayStation, like I don't think I knew anyone that had a PS1, and so me sitting there watching it was kind of like a mind fuck.
I mean, a Japanese PS1 at that.
Well,
Holy shit! Where the hell did he
I
get it
think
from?
the demo disc just ran like natively on that PS1 he had or whatever. Could be wrong,
Where the fuck?
I think it was all Japanese. You know, I was really young, and I was like, this is a weird game. And then it wasn't until like maybe 3 4 years later that my cousin like let me borrow the 3 discs, and
Yeah.
I kind of fell in love with it, and then it wasn't until like we played 8, and I didn't like 8 too much. I was like, this isn't Final Fantasy 7. Like to me, it was like, this is cool and all, but where's Cloud? And so
I hated the
it,
blockiness.
it wasn't until Final Fantasy 9 where I was like, oh, this is actually like
Oh my
this is
god.
actually like amazing. And like 9 resonated with me so much, and to this day I still adore that game. And you know, if they remake it, I won't even care because I'll just sit in the town and just just sit there and not do anything, just not progress at all because they'll probably ruin it. But
Well, we'll see what they're gonna do.
so when the remake for 7 came out, I was like, yeah, nah, I don't know what this is, but it just looks generic.
Apparently, it's an alternate storyline.
Yeah, it's a it's like kind of different storyline, and it was like one of the most frustrating games I've played in the past 10 years. It's like almost up there with this MMO called Lost Ark, where I was constantly
Mhm.
talking to NPCs all day. And like FF7 is the same way. Like you're talking to NPCs all day. The combat isn't really that engaging. Like there's like a block button in the game, there's like a dodge button in the game, but it doesn't feel like they're that
Okay.
important. It just kind of feels like you're hacking and slashing most of the time, and like nothing actually
I mean,
matters.
I knew this was gonna happen because of what happened with Kingdom Hearts, and I like Kingdom Hearts. I always said I always loved it, that whole gameplay style.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew that eventually they were gonna transfer this exact style over to the other Final Fantasy games. You know? And I don't think they really did until 12 or 13,
No,
right?
12 is like interesting game. I won't go too deep on that right now, but I really like 12. But
Like I'm talking about like gameplay wise. That's all.
13 went back to like turn-based kind of style, and it wasn't until 14
Okay.
is the MMO. It wasn't until 15
Yeah.
that kind of did this action combat thing.
All right. All
15
right.
and
15.
16
Sorry.
kind of do this.
Okay. Yeah, that's the future, man.
And
The
it's
whole
like,
action style
if
RPG.
they would, like, I get that they want to do this whole action type of game and get as many sales as possible or whatever. But it's like, at least make something good. Like,
Hey,
it's
man.
just a shitty, most basic, fucking basic bitch combat system like I've ever seen in my life. And it's like, like you could have like at least if you're gonna do that, at least give me the option for like party management and for that to matter, right? Because you can give me the shitty combat, but you can if you give me party management too on top of that and like make that the actual complexity, and like it doesn't have to be hard, but if I can do like new game plus or like level 0 mode, like I'm getting into the weeds now. Like you know what I mean? Like it's complex enough that I can enjoy it in my own way.
Well, I mean, wait till they really start making RPGs terrible. It's not even an RPG; it's a movie,
Yeah, I mean,
and you just give it voice
I'd argue
commands.
we're already there. But
You just give it voice commands.
but so the remake, I played it, and uh, remake part one. I don't even know what these things are called. So what they did with like the main characters, like the main party, like
Yeah.
as gay as this might sound, they did a actually really good. I want to say fantastic job with the characters. Like I was laughing, smiling. I felt kind of bad at certain points. Like they did a fantastic job with the characters, their little interactions and stuff. Like that stuff was like top notch. That was like the best part
Okay.
of the whole experience. And then like the main storyline made me want to shoot myself in the face. It was fucking awful, bro. It was some of the worst like story plot BS like I've ever experienced. Like there's some ghost things. They're like the timekeepers, and they try to fuck with you. They try to fuck with Cloud, and like it's like the future. Basic like Nomura like over the top
Is Trunks
nonsense.
there?
What's that?
Is Trunks there?
It might as well be, dude. It is so fucking stupid. And then they interpret.
What's everybody's issue with fucking timeline loops and shifts and this time travel? Like every form of media has to have
Oh,
time
this isn't
travel.
even the one. Alright, whatever. It doesn't matter. This is the new game.
Like, what the fuck is going on here? Did Avengers really fuck it up that bad for everybody?
Dude, I don't know. Like, it was just so bad, and I got to like I want to say 90% of the storyline through the game, and it was like a certain part of the game where I was just, you know what? There was like too many like dumb things that happened in a row where I was like, you know what? I just turned it off, uninstalled it, and never looked back. And then
Oh
I wrote like
wow.
a huge rant to Jose. I was like, this is awful. I hate this so much. And
How did he respond?
I don't remember. It was so long ago. But
Hmm.
so then recently they have the new game come out, and
Yeah.
I had forgotten what they ruined in the first game, so it kind of took me back to like my playthrough of the original game, and I went into it with those expectations from the original game, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
they completely ruined Sephiroth, even though they already completely ruined him. So do you remember in the let me pull this video up again. YouTube. I gotta type that whole thing in. History. So, see if I can find it. Yeah. So do you remember this part in the original game where it's the flashback
Yeah.
and you meet Sephiroth for a
Like Zack and everybody else?
no, it's like that's you don't see him yet. But yeah, that's part of it. Let's see
I
if
remember this, yeah.
I can get to,
Yeah, like I told you, I played the game, but I don't remember the
yeah,
shit
yeah.
over.
I mean, for me, I remember bits and pieces of it. But you know, one thing I do remember is that this fucking gray-haired cunt over here was like such a badass. You know, look, this fight right here. In this fight, he hits the dragon. He two hits the dragon. 3,000. You're seeing all these big numbers, and you're like level 1, and Cloud is like getting like killed by the like he just gets one shot, and then Sephiroth's like, you know what? Fuck this dragon. I two hit
Yeah, I
you,
actually remember that.
and the dragon hits Sephiroth, and he takes no damage, and it's just like, you just sitting there like level 0 or whatever, like holy shit, this guy's crazy.
You know what's so crazy? Now that you bring this up, I always assumed as a kid because we had like the action replays in the Game
Uh-huh.
Shark. We always assumed that we could get Sephiroth as like a party
Oh
member,
well,
like figure out a way to
it
have him.
seems like that's what they're leading up to in the remakes.
Wait, what do you mean? Are you
It
serious?
seems like that's what they're gonna get to in like the third version or something. So in this demo,
Oh
in the
wow.
beginning of the game, you play through this section, right? From this game, from this part,
Yeah.
you're playing through this part of the game, right? In the demo,
Okay. Yeah.
but they made Sephiroth like on Cloud's or quote unquote Zack's level, which he shouldn't be, according to this flashback, right? According to this flashback, Sephiroth two hits the dragon. But in the demo, it's like Sephiroth is like, nah, he's just like Cloud. You can control him. You could do slashes with him, but he doesn't one shot things. It takes him like 80 hits, like to kill any, to like even do a little bit of damage. Like
That
for some reason they're like this part of the game has to be balanced. It's like no, this is a power fantasy. Like make Sephiroth broken. What are you doing?
broken. Yeah.
Like what is this, right? And it's like you're playing as Sephiroth and like little bugs are hitting you and stunning you. And it's like, why is Sephiroth getting stunned? He's OP. Like, what is this? And it's like, I had forgotten they already ruined him in the first remake. So it was just like, the wound was like the wound healed and they hit me in the wound spot again. They stabbed me.
It's hilarious. So they brought it back.
I wonder if I can.
They brought back all that
I want
pain.
to see if I can find the part where Sephiroth is hitting stuff. Oh, here we go. This should be it. Alright, done. Oh, no, it's still. Or you can see him. Oh yeah, there he is. See, look, look, look. He's slashing like 20 times to do like nothing damage to this thing. It's like
I would have
it's
thought that he would have been like one
he
hitting
should be
everything like a
he
true
should be
boss.
if he did that attack to anything, it should be dead. It's like so stupid. It's so dumb. It's like you completely ruined his character. Like now he's not a badass. Now he's not like a god. Now he's not like this super powered fucking dude at this point in Cloud's life. Now he's just some dude with a,
Nah, bro, it's called character development. What are you
he's just
talking about,
some
man?
dude
That
with a
was
sword.
time.
That's all he is now. Like
In season 3, he becomes the god. What are you talking about, man? That's why I'm watching the show.
oh my god.
Bro. It's like, what the fuck, man?
They ruined him when they did so well with some of the other characters. They ruined him for some reason. I think one of the quotes from the developers was like, what should Sephiroth be like? Oh, well, Sephiroth should be cool. That's what Sephiroth's all about. It's like, what? He's a fucking weirdo. The fucking murdering weirdo psychopath dude with like serious fucking problems. And he's like a god, essentially. In Dragon Ball
Murderer.
Z terms, he's a god or whatever. Whatever you want to whatever verb or adjective you want to adjective, sorry. Whatever adjective you want to use for Sephiroth.
He's a murderer.
Anyway, that was my rant. I have no idea if this shit
You
is any good. Probably not.
know,
Spoilers.
I watched a friend. I could care less about the spoilers. Yeah, I watched like a friend play it and everything. I thought it was a pretty cool, but I was very confused on why he was just running around doing nothing half the time.
Playing what this?
Yeah, Final Fantasy. He was running around doing nothing. I was just like, the hell are you looking for?
Yeah, they made such from the bottom of the barrel scraping dirt gunk to get any sort of gameplay type thing going on. This fucking forced bandit shit from the first game.
It was very confusing. No, because at least the old Final Fantasy had that. I don't know that feel. Does that make sense? Like you were in the ghetto, the slums,
Yeah,
and then eventually you were leaving that, and then embarking on this journey. This beautiful world. It
they did
wasn't.
some of that well. I'm not gonna say it's all shit. They did some of that well,
Yeah,
but the overall package is just like. And this is coming from a guy who like doesn't even really love this game, the original game, that much. But it just bothers me that they missed the plot. So like it was like a layup. This remake, essentially. It's like
yeah.
how could you mess this up? You have all the pieces here, and they have all those spin-off games that are fucking trash too. So it's like it's been this this game has spawned so much crap. Like the first game is decent, and then everything after it has just been worse and worse.
I don't know what to expect from Square Enix anymore. I don't even know if they can make a quality product. I know they had those issues with those Marvel games.
Well,
Yeah, but
I think they might if they don't if they don't turn things around. The last good quote unquote good game or redemption story they're gonna have is gonna be for Final Fantasy 14.
that doesn't look too promising,
It's like
though.
that game came out, people hated it, and then they like fixed it, and now it's like probably one of the best MMOs according to people.
Is it?
I don't play MMOs, I don't know, no idea. But
Well,
they say it's like better than WoW or comparative to WoW, whatever the fuck. I don't know what any of that means.
I never was a fan of MMO, so I'm gonna have a biased opinion. So I'd rather not.
A biased opinion about what?
Because I don't know, man. Like I don't know how to play those games online. I never played them, so I'm uneducated in the matter.
You
So
play GTA? That's an
I
MMO.
can't be. That's not a real MMO. Get the fuck out
Says
of
who?
here. What they used to call them a sandbox. They don't even use that word anymore.
I don't really know. I don't know what the terminology was back in like the EverQuest days or whatever.
Yeah, those buzzwords don't exist no
Those
more.
Japanese people love their EverQuest.
Ooh,
Like, this is awesome.
that was
Oh man.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. All right, so what's up? Anything else?
I wrote down some things. Yep, that was one of them. Cross that off the list.
Awesome sauce.
Got another one in the books.
Yep, why not?
Thanks, everybody.
Such a boring
What do you
episode.
mean?
This is a terrible episode.
That's fine.
I don't feel alive. I don't feel as alive.
Well,
That's all,
it's probably
guys.
it's probably all that itis from your food that you ate
Well, that's too.
and
Yeah.
like
I know.
discussing these two garbage games.
Oh, yeah. It was a
Oh, they added
downer.
a
It
card
was a
game.
heavy downer.
This looks interesting, actually. I should look into this. This might be good. Maybe. Hopefully. I like card games.
Yeah, weren't you making your own Final Fantasy card game or something?
That was like a while, like years ago. I was like messing around.
I remember you coming up with some crazy concepts and stuff. You was using the Final Fantasy VIII stuff.
What was that? I think it was 9.
Was it? Oh, it was nine.
Yeah, I don't like the 8 one too much. The 8 one was kind of like, eh. The 9 one was a little bit more interesting to me. I got save files where
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
didn't.
in the first town when you haven't met anybody and you're just collecting cards and like, you're like challenging people. Yeah, this is a video I was talking about earlier. Younger generations can't
Ooh,
accept losing.
well, they don't want to lose. Maybe it's a competitive generation. I don't know.
Oh,
Do we
God.
really want to continue pacifying these fucking kids?
Should we read these comments
I,
like they're to us?
yeah, yeah. All right, why
Alright,
not?
I'm gonna read them and you can respond to this one. Tekken Millennial Edition,
Uh,
easy inputs, no health bars, no KO screen, everyone wins.
everyone wins. I mean, you're watching a movie at that point. I don't even know how to respond to that. It's fucking idiot.
Aller Khan says, so Harada is speaking out of his rear end. As a therapist with nearly 2 decades more experience than him, reading this sentence here that he wrote, like that should just disqualifies everything he has to say after this.
Yeah, what does that even mean? I'm so
As a therapist
confused.
with nearly 2 decades of experience, well, Harada's not a therapist, and the fact that you had to mention that at all is kind of weird.
Yeah, I thought he was playing a game.
And who
It was a fucking
specializes in
game for
gaming
Christ's sake.
therapy? What does that mean?
Game and therapy.
This is just
Game and
uneducated
therapy.
garbage he's spouting. For one, younger generations predominantly play solo in battle royale games, not team based.
Not team based.
I don't think that's true. I don't think I don't think that's true.
Is it all battle royale games?
Play solo in battle royale
Is it?
game? I really doubt that. maybe
Isn't photo
maybe in
technical?
his therapy experience where he's dealing with fucking incels or whatever.
Are you lying?
Not team based. Fighting games are actually the most effective tool in building confidence, resilience, and independence. Yo, who is this clown? I'm sorry.
This guy's just making up shit
Two
now.
years of therapy experience on BetterHelp.com. They just want to pander to young
Alright.
audience, but to what extent? If young players say 3D is too broad of a concept for a fighting game, they become 2D. What do you think about that?
Repeat that one for me again. I
They just
apologize.
want to pander to young audiences, but to what extent? If young players in the future say 3D is too broad of a concept for a fighting game, would they become 2D?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I didn't say that. Double
Well,
Simpson said it.
at that point, it becomes how hard do I want my fighting game to be? It's really what it comes down to. How hard do I want my fighting game to be?
Iron Man
I want,
says some.
do I really want to? a technical fighting game. You know, no, that's actually a good one. Because like, do you really think that we're eventually gonna go back to 2D? Like, is the 3D aspect truly problematic? You know, are they really gonna get really technical about it? Like with the whole hitboxes in 3D, are they really that different from the 2D hitboxes? You know, are we really gonna go down to the decimals? That was kind of a good one. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Mm, to me, I feel like in the mind of like, let's say if you blank everything out of your mind and you tell somebody, you give them Tekken, right? And you change all the Tekken
Yeah.
aspects to 2D, but you don't tell them, are they gonna know the difference?
Would a 2D Tekken work?
Not if it would work, but if you changed everything and made it 2D, like, would they even notice that it's different? I don't think so.
Probably not. I don't know. Can you?
Like you lose the
When I think of
sidestepping,
sidestep,
you lose the sidestepping,
yeah, that's exactly what I was in sidestepping.
but you know what I mean. I don't
Do you jump on the other
like.
plane like how
I
SNK was
really
trying to
don't
do
think
it?
the average consumer really gives a shit whether Tekken is 3D or 2D, or has a nuanced enough perspective to say that 3D is too broad of a concept or too hard than a 2D one.
Yeah. I mean, I feel that this generation is just so caught up with 3D that that's all they want. If it's not 3D, they can care less. It's why Street Fighter's in 3D now. Because if not, they would have done Street Fighter in 2D. They would have went back to 2D, I feel
Like
like.
for me, a 3D fighting game would be more like Dark Souls PvP,
Dark Souls
or like
PvP.
those mech games. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, like the Gundam Battle Versus in Japan, yeah. The old school virtual on Mar games,
Because
yeah.
like the side play takes more is more easier, I would say, I guess, and more accessible, I guess, and more prevalent. Like the sidestepping in Tekken is more like positioning and evasive kind of thing.
Yeah.
I agree. This doesn't really seem accurate, and the babying the young never makes anything better. The fact that a game like Elden Ring has achieved such level of popularity in recent years shows that younger and older gamers of today appreciate a challenge.
I think he's just showing Elden Ring. Like I don't even think that was genuine of a response.
uh,
Like, he's just
I'm
showing
gonna
their
call
game.
cap on this because Elden Ring is easy as f, and if you just throw yourself at the enemy, except for like a few of them, you'll eventually win.
Wow.
So cap,
He's coming from the Elden Ring master himself.
not a master, but that game it's not as difficult as people try to make it seem that it is.
You know it's a difficult game?
What?
Third Strike's a difficult game.
Oh no, we're losing subscribers.
Because I'm
I'm
talking about
shitting
Third
on Elden
Strike.
Ring. No.
Oh god. Alright, tell me what else this
Some
guy
of these
said.
comments are just odd. Considering dudes in the 90s would get beat up for picking dolls and Zangief, I think the FGC is much better now. I'm not sure what that has to do with the context of the video.
Wait a minute. What does getting punched in the face in the arcade have to do with whatever they were
I don't
talking about?
know.
It's very strange.
I'm not sure. I don't know. See, if this was our audience, they would not say silly things like this. They would engage with us. They'd be like, you know what, you guys are dumb, and I don't agree, but I'm not gonna type this.
Lord.
I've said this for years. There's a difference between losing in a shooter that will never be the same as losing in a fighting game. Yeah, this guy gets it. There's always some other
Yeah.
factor those gamers will blame, whether it's camping, their team, lag, aimbot, or whatever. Losing in a fighting game,
Yeah.
especially online, those excuses start to disappear. You have to hold the fact you're just not as good as the guy that repeatedly handed you your L's. And in person,
Yep.
that dude was standing next to you. It's a much more personal feeling, and most gamers aren't built for that. I want to. I want to say
Yes.
this part, the dude standing next to you, it's not really that relevant because most casuals are going to be playing online. But this makes sense. But in the context, I would say, whatever.
It's a layer of psychology. It does stand. But I know where you're going with it also, because that's the reason why people enjoy online gaming so much. You don't have to see the other people. You can shit talk.
Yeah,
You can shit talk in chat, and you're never going to talk to that person again unless you are willing to add
yeah.
him as a
You could
friend.
tell him his mom is his dad, and you'll never have to see the consequences of that.
Pretty much. Yeah, shit like that.
Especially this crop who couldn't get through an old Mega Man game if you put it in front of them. Yeah, probably not. Probably not me either. Probably take me a while. Yes, people have excuses for why they lost in fighters, but every single one of us knows deep down at the end of the day we got outplayed. Not me, I'm the best. I mean that with 100%, with
That's
1,000%. Get that ass banned.
I'm the
Banned, 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 banned.
banning everybody who disagrees with my point of view.
DSP and LTG used the fusion dance to ban you. And we have to hold that regardless of how idiotic the way we might have even lost was. But and we might have to hold that regardless of how idiotic the way we might have lost. I guess have the way we might have lost was okay. Our genre will always be niche because it requires you to have to commit time, practice, and be okay with losing a lot to see payoffs. Anyone thinking the current gamers are okay with that is living outside of reality. This guy said
Yeah.
nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Pretty much on point.
You have to be willing to lose.
But I
You have to
don't
be
think
willing to lose.
it directly conflicts with what Harada was suggesting, or what I suggested with my quote unquote $1,000,000 idea that you said that I had.
Man, let's just make a game and use the Connect to make the game.
Damn, where did you play? Prison? That's the Zangief Dalton guy. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. All right. We're at about an hour and 20 minutes. I think we can call it there. Thank you, everybody in
Yeah, we can
here,
call it that, man.
in this comment section here, who's directly in our video, for sure,
Just directly.
from our channel. Our channel, by the way, is this one. We got some old videos in here now. We got like a whole catalog of stuff that happened. You can go back and watch some of our discussions. Dragon's Dogma. We got this episode about nothing. Akira Toriyama. 2XGO Sega announcements. Yeah, anything you want to leave with
Yeah,
the fine people?
listen, guys, if you want to give a like, subscribe, it's perfectly fine. If you don't, it's okay. Tell us what you like in the comments, what you don't like. If you hate us, if we suck, it's perfectly fine. We accept all forms of criticism, all right? It doesn't matter. All right, we're just doing this to shoot the shit.
I'm kind of wired in the worst, in like a weird way, where criticism just makes me happy, it makes me laugh.
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
you suck. You smell. You're not 6 feet. I'm like, you're right.
Oh, the man. Rise of the
Rise.
manlets.
Oh yes. I was wondering why. All right. Anyway, thank you, everyone. Where's our clapping? Where's our punk noise?
Yeah, where's Punk? Where's Punk?
Learn some footsies, motherfucker. Fuck out of here. That random shit, bro.
That random shit, bro.
All right, we can end it there,
Yeah.
man. All right, guys. Have a good night.
I love everyone, even you. Goodbye.